Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 49, and in the main event, we have Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. And this video is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this lightweight fight. This was not the original main event for UFC Vegas 49. The original main event was Islam Makhachev versus Beneil Dariush. Unfortunately for the fans and for him, Beneil Dariush suffered a leg injury in training and had to pull out of the fight with Islam. And I was really disappointed in this because I was really looking forward to seeing two elite lightweights going at it for a potential #1 contender spot in the lightweight division. But honestly, I've already made a dedicated video on this, and I'll link it down below as well as the end cards. But this is still a very important lightweight fight, and I believe either of these guys could grab a lightweight title shot with a win at UFC Vegas 49. So this fight is still very, very important. So if you look at the tail of the tape, Islam Makhachev is ranked number 4 in the UFC official rankings. Bobby Green is not ranked in the top 15. Islam Makhachev is 30 years old. Bobby Green is 35. They are both 5'10". Makhachev has a 70.5-inch reach. Bobby Green has a 71-inch reach. And if you look at Bobby Green, people don't realize he's been around forever. He's been in the UFC forever. He came over from Strikeforce in February of 2013, and he's been fighting in the UFC for 9 years. That is absolutely insane. What career longevity that Bobby Green has had. And, I'm not going to go over all these fights. He's had over 18 fights in the UFC. And I'm not going to, I don't really think wins or losses from 2014, 2015 are super relevant. But one thing I did want to point out is his only stoppage loss in the UFC was against Dustin Poirier back in 2016. That's the only time he's been stopped in the UFC. Every other fight that he's lost has been by decision. And just to show how long Bobby Green has been in the UFC, I had tickets to go to UFC 172 back in 2014. It was John Jones versus Glover Teixeira, and I remember Bobby Green was on that card, and I was super disappointed. He had to pull out with an injury. I don't remember who he was fighting, but he's been around forever. Now, if you look at Bobby Green's most recent fights, he fought at UFC 271, which will be exactly 2 weeks to the date of the main event versus Islam Makhachev. So stepping in on very short notice. And in this fight at UFC 271, he absolutely outclassed Nasrat Haqparast. And Nasrat is not an easy opponent. He's no trash can. And Bobby Green went out there and just outstruck him, battered him in every round, was landing jabs right in between the guard, followed by straight rights right in between the guard, and just lit Nasrat up for 3 rounds and won via unanimous decision. Before that, he outclassed Ally Quinta and retired him and TKO'd him in the first round in his home state of New York. Before that, he had a loss against Rafael Fiziev, who Rafael Fiziev is fighting RDA at UFC 272, and Fiziev is a very, very hot up-and-coming prospect in the lightweight division who a lot of people think has potential championship caliber at lightweight. And in this fight, Bobby Green was outstruck the first 2 rounds, but as Rafael Fiziev started to kind of, lose his stamina a little bit in that 3rd round, Bobby Green won the 3rd round. And had this been a 5-round fight, I think there's a chance that Bobby Green would have either got a stoppage in the 4th or 5th round or won a decision, winning rounds 3, 4, and 5. But that was not the case. He has a loss against Rafael Fiziev. That was back at UFC 265. So since August of last year, he's had 3 fights. That's insane. Before that, he has a loss to Thiago Moises, which is an opponent in common with Islam Makhachev. He lost by decision. It was just Thiago Moises was the more well-rounded fighter. And, I'm not going to go too far behind that. He has 3-win streak before that. Alan Patrick, Lando Venata, which I think is a decent win, and Clay Guida, which Clay Guida is still winning in the lightweight division, so that's a decent win too. If you go over and you look at Islam Makhachev, this guy is on a 9-fight win streak. He only has 1 loss in his MMA career against Adriano Martins, where he was KO'd. I think he got clipped with a massive right hand and put out cold. And that's his only loss in his MMA career. But as I've talked about before, and that was all the way back in 2015, as I talked about before, the level of competition on Islam Makhachev's resume leaves a lot to be desired. He has not fought the most elite of the elite competition, but it's not like he's fighting trash cans. He's fighting decent guys. Gleison Tibau, Arman Sarukian, Drew Dober, Thiago Moises, Dan Hooker. His most recent fight was at UFC 267 against Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker stepped in on this fight on short notice and he was absolutely destroyed. He was taken down almost immediately in the first round, and then immediately Islam Makhachev started working that Kimura, wrenched that Kimura so hard. Dan Hooker, I believe he verbally tapped in this fight because I did not see a tap, and I never got any clarity on that. Before that, he defeated Thiago Moises via 4th round rear naked choke. And I've said this before, and I also did a prediction video for our man Sarukian versus Joel Alvarez. You can find that on the channel, but I said this in that video as well. Thiago Moises is underrated for the lightweight division. He is much better than people give him credit for. And this fight was very competitive against Islam Makhachev. And in this fight, Thiago Moises even took Islam down, but Islam just had the better jiu-jitsu, was able to reverse him. The striking was kind of even. The clinch work, Islam had, better strikes within the clinch, and also Islam had better stamina, and eventually takes him down in the 4th round and works out a rear naked choke. Before that, the win over Drew Dober. He's on a 3 submission win streak, Islam Makhachev is. He submitted Drew Dober via arm triangle in the 3rd round, and Drew Dober is a legit lightweight as well. He's not the elite of the elite, but again, it's a very decent opponent and a decent step up in competition for Islam at the time, and went out there and was able to take him down in the 3rd round. I can't remember the 1st or 2nd round in that fight too well, but I think Islam was able just to take him down and dominate him on the ground. And it's a common theme with Islam Makhachev. He can get you down, kind of wear on your gas tank, and eventually find the submission in the later rounds. And he submitted Drew Dober via arm triangle in the later rounds. But again, I have to mention, the resume is not all that great, but he's dominating these guys. And also, I said this in my title shot video about Islam Makhachev. He's accepted fights against elite competition. It's not like he's not accepting fights against elite competition. He accepted multiple times against RDA, accepted against Beneil Dariush. Unfortunately, for one reason or another, these fights have not come to fruition. So it kind of sucks, that now he can potentially earn a shot over Bobby Green. But at the end of the day, he's got to stay active. The guy's staying active. He can't sit around and wait, especially with the lightweight division kind of tied up right now. So if you look, at this fight, I think this is probably the best matchup the UFC could have came up with on such short notice. And I think that, and I've talked about Bobby Green multiple times on the channel. There's some times that Bobby Green comes out and he looks like a world-class elite lightweight. And there's other times he comes out and he does not look like it. He just looks like he has an off night. He's just kind of inconsistent, and his career kind of shows that. He wins 3 fights and then loses 3 fights. He then wins a fight and loses 2. Then he wins 3 fights, loses 2 fights. Then he wins 2 fights again. He's kind of inconsistent. He's never been able to kind of reel off a long win streak in the lightweight division. And Bobby Green is primarily a striker, but he doesn't have crazy KO power. He TKO'd Ally Quinta, but other than that, it's not like he's knocking guys dead. He has 42 MMA fights in his career, and he's won 10 by knockout. He won 8 by decision, or 8 by submission, and 11 by decision. But he's not a guy that has crazy knockout power. So for me, how does Bobby Green win this fight as a massive underdog against Islam Makhachev? There's 2 keys. He has to stuff the takedowns of Islam Makhachev and just keep the fight standing and outstrike Islam Makhachev. I've talked about this so many times, I almost hate saying it again in another video. Sometimes a guy who's a superior striker on paper can lose the striking battle for fear of the takedown. And I'm wondering if in this fight, Islam Makhachev is going to be able to hang on the feet with Bobby Green, because Bobby Green is going to be worried about the takedown. Now, Bobby Green, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Bobby Green's going to get wrecked. Bobby Green is a legit guy, and also Bobby Green he carries his hands very low. He has great head movement, and he carries his hands low, so he's able to better defend takedowns. But I'm just wondering how this is going to go. Islam Makhachev, we know what Islam Makhachev wants to come in and do. Islam Makhachev has the same game plan every time. He wants to come in, he wants to take you down, he wants to control you on the ground, and he wants to look for a submission. Islam doesn't want to, sit there and strike on the feet and use footwork. He wants to take you down, trip you down, grab you in the body lock and pull you to the ground, and eventually look for a submission or ground and pound and eventually win a decision. So how do I think this fight's going to go? When I look at this fight and I look at all the avenues to victory for both guys, I think Bobby Green, the only way he wins this fight is by decision, and he stuffs the takedowns and he just outstrikes Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev can win this fight by submission. I think he can take Bobby Green down and control him for 3, even just 3 out of 5 rounds, if not all 5 rounds, control him on the ground and win the decision. Or Islam could potentially even TKO him with, just being able to control him on the ground and just let off ground and pound. But my official prediction for this fight is going to be Islam Makhachev via 4th round submission. And I just think that the superior grappling of Islam Makhachev is going to pay off in this fight. And there's, I didn't go back and watch all 18 of Bobby Green's UFC fights or 42 of his MMA fights, but I don't ever remember a time where Bobby Green was taken down and just dominated on the ground. Thiago Moises was able to take him down and hold him down, but Bobby Green was also able to take Thiago Moises down. And also, Thiago Moises fought Islam Makhachev, was able to take Islam Makhachev down. So, I don't think Bobby Green is a sacrificial lamb here. I think he's an underrated wrestler. I think his ability to use his head movement and keep his hands low gives him a little bit an extra, one up when trying to stuff the takedowns of Islam Makhachev. And I believe he could try to outstrike him, but I eventually believe between the clinch work, the, stuffing the takedowns of Bobby Green, attempting to stuff the takedowns of Islam, the cardio is going to start to wear on Bobby Green. Even if he stuffs, 3 takedowns in the first round and maybe wins the round just barely 10-9, I think he's going to get tired. His arms are going to get tired. His legs are going to get tired. And he's going to be worried about the takedown too much. He's not able to let his hands go. I don't see him KOing Islam Makhachev. I know Islam's been KO'd before by Adriano Martins, but Bobby Green has never shown he has that type of one-punch power. So it would really have to be a cumulative effect on Islam. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Bobby Green might be able to defend some takedowns. He's going to be pushed up against the fence in the clinch by Islam. Islam's going to be making him pummel, getting them arms tired. And eventually, as the fight goes on, Bobby Green is going to get tired and eventually get taken down, and Islam is going to be able to control him. Now, maybe in the early rounds, Islam gets him down, Bobby Green scrambles and gets back to his feet. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but maybe that's possible. But either way, I think Bobby Green, from the grappling and the threat of the grappling, Bobby Green is going to just get more tired round by round. Eventually, Islam is going to be able to take him down and control him on the ground, beat him up, soften him up, and eventually find a rear naked choke. And I'm going Islam Makhachev via 4th round submission. Rear naked choke is going to be my prediction. And I just think that's the way it's going to go. I think Bobby Green, if he can keep the fight standing while still being able to let his hands go, I think he has a real chance in this fight. But honestly, I'm pretty confident that Islam Makhachev is just too superior of a grappler for Bobby Green. Bobby Green's never been controlled, but I don't think he's ever fought a grappler with the skill level of Islam. And Islam does not have the best takedowns. I know a lot of people compare Islam Makhachev to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib has great takedowns. Islam does not have the best takedowns, but he has great top control. He's not as aggressive on the top with the ground and pound as Khabib, but he does have decent control on the ground. And once he gets you down, he's looking for the wrist control. He's not getting too crazy with the ground and pound that you're able to scramble back to your feet. And I just believe that level of top game, that level of control really wears on the guy on the bottom. And Bobby Green, while he's shown decent stamina, he won the 3rd round against Rafael Fiziev. Islam Makhachev has shown great stamina as well, and he's right in his game when he's just grappling nonstop and he's chaining everything together. And when he takes you down up against the cage, it's not like, he's just controlling the legs. He's attacking every limb. He's looking for the wrist control. He's wrapping your feet up where he does kind of like a body triangle around the ankles or the calves, like Khabib does all the time as well. He's fighting all those limbs, and as you're trying to constantly scramble back to your feet and get out of these positions, it just wears on all your limbs. And Bobby Green's just going to not be able to let his hands go even when he does get back to the feet, because he's going to be worried about the takedown, and he's just going to get tired round by round. And Islam is just too good on the ground. Once he gets you on the ground, he's constantly looking for submissions. He's controlling you. He's not leaving any openings for you to be able to get back to your feet. So that's the way I see the fight going. I think Islam Makhachev gets this one done. I'm pretty confident in it, but I don't think Bobby Green is a sacrificial lamb in this fight. I think Bobby Green could surprise us, but if Bobby Green does win, I think he wins by decision, being able to stuff the takedowns and land on the feet. I don't see him finishing Islam Makhachev. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, to see Islam Makhachev finished by Bobby Green. And after this fight, I have the dedicated video on the channel. You can look at it if you want. I'll tag it down in the description as well as the end cards. But if Islam Makhachev defeats Bobby Green, there's nobody else in the lightweight division to fight for the title. I think you got to give it to Islam Makhachev. So that makes this fight that much more important. And if you disagree, Comment down below and let me know why and who you would give the lightweight title shot to instead after Justin Gaethje fights Charles Oliveira for the title, because who's next? You know, if Islam Makhachev's 10-fight win streak isn't enough, who would you give it to? Because you can't have the lightweight champion just sitting out because there's no one else that you think is worthy to fight for the belt. But let me know in the comments. I'm open to discussion. I'm always curious about what people think. Don't forget to like the video. Comment down below who you think is going to win this fight. Is there anybody picking Bobby Green to upset Islam Makhachev? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.